Our role was basically to strategize the management of the pandemic in the Emirate, to unify the efforts across the system, make sure that there is a whole of government approach, and to bring in both the private players and the public players together to fight the pandemic. Like any other city in the world, leadership just said right from the beginning the guiding principle, and that's the health and safety of the people of Dubai. So Dubai COVID-19 Command and Control Center was established through a decree by His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Crown Prince of Dubai, the chairperson of the Executive Council. And this Command and Control Center was the arm that reported to the Supreme Committee for Emergency and Disaster Management in the Emirate of Dubai, chaired by His Highness Sheikh Mansour bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum.
From the very early days of the Command and Control Center, it was made very clear that decisions will be informed by science and guided by data. To me, it's a no-brainer. What's the alternative? At the time, I was the Dean of Medicine at the Mohammed bin Rashid University of Medicine and Health Sciences. A lot of the colleagues at the university led some of the core streams for the Command and Control Center. So the head of the Command and Control Center is the Vice Chancellor of the university.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the COVID-19 Command and Control Center meeting.
The people who led the logistics, the science stream, the testing stream, now the vaccination stream are all colleagues from the university, faculty, students, basically everybody had to be part of this. And I think in many other countries also, academic institutions played a big role in the fight against this pandemic.
We decided that the whole contact center and all the teams will be based at MBRU. It made communications between teams became much easier. So there was an investigation team.
Do you have any medical history?
There was a contact tracing team.
They have to quarantine.
A team that followed up with the home isolation.
And that they will send you a clearance certificate.
And there was an admissions team.
You can ask them for doctor's appointment.
The ambulance services, the road traffic authority supporting us with transport.
Some of our taxi drivers and bus drivers were trained to help the ambulance services to transport mild cases or suspected cases from the residents to the quarantine areas.
Multiple rooms, multiple floors, 24/7. Dubai is always a combination of successful private businesses and private entities, and healthcare is just another sector. Right from the beginning, the Command and Control Center decided that this is a partnership. This cannot happen independently of any player.
If you have a sizable proportion of your healthcare sector delivered by the private sector, then they are part of the response to a health threat. So everybody came together.
This is truly a first. Private just does not cross the boundary, and medicine wasn't politicized. That was the key factor.
They called me for the first meeting. When I went there, I found all the leaders of the government in Dubai. Government, private, they put us in one big room and start giving us a data to predict and how we should get prepared. I remember the first statement raised by Sheikh Mansour during our first meeting. He said, testing, testing, testing.
This is a disease that is contagious, so if you want to prevent people from passing it on to others, well, the first thing you need to do is to find those people who are infected.
In February, we couldn't do a single PCR test, and by the end of April, we could do 10,000 tests a day. We're doing more tests per day than some countries were.
So we went from very, very low testing numbers to probably the highest testing numbers per capita globally.
And then all of those results and the outcomes of the positive tests were going into a central database.
And that gave us very, very valuable data. It was important because then you isolate people who test positive and you quarantine their contacts. But it also gave us a metric to track the status of the pandemic in the country.
The other thing is to determine the areas that had more infections.
منطقة نايف منطقة دبي القديمة فيها سوق الذهب القديم، فيها عدد زوار كثير من السياح يحضرونها بشكل يومي، وفيها سوق البهارات وسوق الجملة، إضافة إلى ذلك فيها عدد كبير من الفنادق. وهي تعد منطقة سياحية بالإضافة إلى جزء كبير منها منطقة سكنية، والمنطقة فيها عمارات كثيرة وعدد السكان من مختلف الجنسيات والثقافات، وتتعايش مع بعض بشكل قريب جدا، ما في بينهم تباعد. الزحام كان موجود، طبعا شكل تحدي كبير بالنسبة لنا. المنطقة فيها حالات إيجابية كثيرة مصابين بهذا الفيروس، فكان لابد من احتواء هاي المنطقة وإغلاقها على أساس أن الفيروس ما ينتشر إلى مناطق أخرى في إمارة دبي.
Naif being a dense, popular area, that was a challenge. So we had to take a decision to contain the disease within Naif.
يعني يمكن القرار كان حوالي الساعة 6 المساء، تقريباً على الساعة 12 بالليل قمنا بغلق المنطقة بالكامل.
Everyone is requested to stay home.
We urge the public to follow the safety precautions mentioned below.
التحدي الكبير كان بالنسبة لنا نحن هو الجمهور.
They're getting food to be spread out and distributed to those that are in need.
وكيف نحن بنواجه هذا الجمهور اللي بيصطدم معانا مع الحاجز اللي معمول على أساس عدم إخراجهم من هذه المنطقة. كيف نحن بنقدر نوصل لهم موضوع التوعية بشأن هذا الفيروس وشو يسبب هذا الفيروس للناس، ممكن يكون يأثر على الصحة العامة للجميع. مكنتنا نحن نقدر نحتوي الجمهور، بالإضافة طبعا مشاركة المتطوعين معنا من مختلف الجنسيات ومختلف اللغات. الجمهور كان متعاون معنا بشكل كبير. كان لابد من إدخال الغذاء والأدوية وتفعيل بعض المستشفيات العيادات اللي كانت موجودة للناس اللي هم عايشين في نفس المنطقة. I cannot give you the correct figure, but I think not less than 50 tons of gold is in this area. If you see the place now is crowded. You imagine nobody, no movement in this place at that time. The whole shop was closed and the gold inside the market was full and everybody locked their shops and they left. Of course, as you see, what we have here in this place is the most important in Naif area. And we have to protect it in different ways. We have a lot of cameras covering this area. We have an alarm system fixed with every shop. But still we were having like a big challenge just to keep this safe area. You know, it's an old gold souk and surrounded with a lot of buildings, a lot of people living in this area. So you never know what they are thinking to do at that time. Maybe some of them think that nobody is here, this shop is closed, let's have one hit and go home. It was a very big challenge. But thanks God, the people are very helpful at that time. At the same time, of course, you have to do our full procedure to protect this area. تعلمت يمكن ما تعلمت في سنوات ماضية كثيرة. خطط العمليات الشرطية عادة ما تكون معظمها موضوع على اتجاه الجريمة. يمكن بالنسبة لهاي الأزمة اللي حصلت كانت شوية مختلفة. طبعاً لما جتنا الأزمة استوى التحدي أكبر بكثير. بدينا نحارب جنود مجهولين نحن ما نراهم بالعين.
You can imagine for a city that is on the move 24/7, for a truly sort of global city, to make a decision that you have to restrict movement across the city was not an easy decision to make, but that's what leadership is all about. It's about making difficult decisions when you have to make difficult decisions.
This virus was moved by human beings and it was transmitted by human beings. So the whole idea of lockdowns was to limit the movement, limit networking, reducing the spread and surging capacity in healthcare.
It was sort of a tactical pause so that we could ramp up testing capacity, we could ramp up hospital capacity, we could educate ourselves and the community about the virus. And then we open up gradually.
Our business literally stopped overnight. Immense leverage advanced technologies like 3D printing to manufacture parts. We had contracts with different companies, and I'm to say within a span of 72 hours, everything was put on hold. I mean, the kind of things that run through your head, you don't know where to start. You have your own emotions, you have the business side of it and the shareholders, you've got your employees and what they're going through personally also. How long can we survive? How long is this thing gonna go on?
When you look back at it, you see an organization of this scale that's operating in 17 markets, in 12 different industries. Strategizing for a lockdown, if you try to really figure it out, you realize that there is so much you know, and there is so much that you don't know, and you can't even imagine. So you just need to go back to basics. We've run our businesses for a very long time, and it was, I would say, the common wisdom that efficiency is what matters. How can you do more for less, and how you can be as efficient as possible. And we realized very early on that efficiency doesn't matter. What matters is resilience, because whatever you have done before, how efficient you've been or whatever, is important but can vanish within 24 hours.
In my history with the shopping mall business, we came across a situation where we had to operate 24/7. We had the 24 hours shopping, but I would never imagine shutting down the mall. It was very sad. In the UAE, you're talking about 18 shopping malls. There is a huge impact on the operation. The objective was to build a more sustainable relation with the tenants. So during the lockdown, the rent was suspended.
We had just come out of a stellar year. I think the box office for that year, 2019, was in excess of $42 billion US, the most that it had ever been. We had opened 8 or 9 new cinemas in that year. We had entertained 22 million guests ourselves. You know, it was our best year ever. You know, we're in the entertainment industry. We get a buzz from seeing people come to us and enjoy themselves and enjoy the movies. So for that to be stripped away from you almost overnight does leave a hollow feeling in one's heart. We employ, in the UAE at that time, I think it was around 1,700 staff, and probably across the region almost double that. So to pivot and change was very challenging for us.
When they informed us that we're going to close, we are all shocked.
I am thinking what will happen to me and to my family.
Especially with our job, that we're only depending about movies, and now it's been closed, all the cinemas, no movies at all.
I actually had an emergency toothache, and I had to go to the dentist in the middle of the lockdown. And my dentist opened the clinic, said, come, we need to do the root canal. While we were working on it, he was complaining about his face shield. He was saying, I can't believe we're buying these face shields. They're charging us 5 times the price, 100 dirhams. These things cost 20 because there's no supply. And I'm sitting there, and he's working on the tooth, and I'm figuring, why is this thing costing 100? Why can't they get them? He said, it's supply chain, they get it from Asia. We finish, I head back to the office and called the team in. And within 4 or 5 hours, we came up with a product. We could actually 3D print these face shields. We did a couple of them, send it to my dentist, and he was ecstatic. I was asked probably the same day, could we possibly do 10 more, 20 more? And within the next 24 hours, we had orders for probably a couple hundred of those. It was just a ripple effect. One person would get it, someone would see him, would mention it, because nobody could get access to these things. Then we got a call by one of the large government hospitals. We had to go and produce 10 or 15,000 face shields in a matter of 5 days. The energy that was there, I was working more than I was ever working. You could see your team just excited. They keep hearing about their friends, their acquaintances that are struggling and pay cuts and uncertainty while they're busy producing stuff. At the same time, you're actually satisfying a real demand where hospitals, clinics, different facilities needed these face masks. I loved it. I'm not sure my family loved it. I think my wife was complaining, saying, you're leaving the house and you're exposing yourself. But otherwise, it was probably the best month all year.
We had taken a decision not to terminate people because of the COVID pandemic. It was very clear to us that some of our businesses, for example, our cinema business, our Fox business, was totally shut down. At the same time, our Carrefour business had a lot of constraints and a lot of demand on grocery retail that was essential. And of course, the online business was booming, soaring like never before. In some markets, we got to 1,400%. And we needed to, in a record time, to adapt to this additional demand.
Yeah, when I heard about working in Carrefour, it was a surprise. It's a new learning experience for me because it's kind of different from the job that I'm working with.
We found our people spaces all over the Carrefour business. Could be fulfilling orders in a warehouse environment, could have been selling fruit and vegetables in the supermarket environment, could have been preparing pizzas or any other food items in kitchens. I was humbled, to be honest, to see how quickly they put their hands up and said, we want to get involved. It wasn't without danger either. You've got to remember back at that point in time, we didn't know as much about COVID as what we know now.
For me, I feel so lucky that I'm still able to continue my job so I can still provide for my family. And we feel happy that, of course, in a little way, we know that we're helping the people during that pandemic.
There was real strain on the supply chain. And we suddenly realized the importance of food safety and food security, which was something that was already kind of a trend coming up, and this was accelerated because of the pandemic. Despite the fact that people were hoarding like never before, nothing went out of stock.
Fish farm started in 2013 as an idea that we can create any kind of an ocean in the UAE. We know exactly what we have been feeding our fish. We know exactly the environment our fish, the water quality that it's living in, from the mothers and the grandmother of this genetics. Suddenly, the demand that we used to have in 3 months, we had it in 1 month. So we were forced to supply the whole UAE, keeping the market stable in the species that we were growing, which was the salmon and the sea bream and the sea bass and the hamachi, the amberjack and the hamur, which all of these 5 species actually come from foreign countries that were not able to supply the UAE as they were also on lockdowns. We import 92% of our food in the UAE. The leaders was looking at the shortage that we had in the UAE, and immediately this is the orders that came from the leaders, that you need to cover whatever that we were importing from anywhere in the world. That 92% economy that we are taking it outside the world, we can actually build it here in the UAE. So it's inshallah by 2022, we'll be starting the construction for the biggest fish farm, land farm in the world, and to have a capacity that can keep supplying the UAE for 365 days non-stop.
I think like everybody at that moment, we probably thought, oh, we're going to be out for 2 or 4 weeks, and then 2 or 4 weeks pass by and you think, okay, so maybe it's going to be 2 months, and never sort of having an understanding of where the end point was made it quite difficult at times to strategize. We needed to maintain contact with our customers. So we recognized there was an opportunity at the time when all cinemas were closed. In fact, most all leisure businesses were closed. And somebody came up with the idea, why don't we reinvigorate drive-in cinema? So we had an amazing opportunity. We've got a rooftop on the top of Mall of Emirates. It sits in the shadow of Ski Dubai. It couldn't be more iconic if you tried, really. And it really seemed to resonate with people. And it's not that drive-in cinemas were new. It's that nobody had thought to leverage that opportunity in the middle of a pandemic. And as time went on, it unfolded as an opportunity across the globe, and lots of cinema exhibitors and event operators took it up, which was great to see, but we were the first.
I'm a hero of hope.
So Heroes of Hope, we operate as a community outreach initiative here in the UAE, where we work very closely with the families and with children and adults with special needs to enjoy sports and to develop and progress and do the very best that they can.
Tiwa and Timmy are twins.
They have a diagnosis of autism, both of them.
Alex was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder.
As an autistic child, he sees the world in a different way. Say something.
No, after you click it. And action!
My oldest son, Tanai, is People of Determination, and he's with the Heroes of Hope.
Children with special needs, they're born into a world that doesn't really bend to them, and they're always expected to bend to us, and I don't think that's right. I think we need to have a very flexible society, a very flexible way of dealing with them so that they can be included. And when that starts to happen, you can see them transform, and that's why we call them heroes, because they essentially build their own powers, their own strengths to be successful and to achieve a lot.
When lockdown happened, it was like a catastrophe or something, like how are we going to cope? It's normally very difficult for autistic kids, and mine have ADHD as well.
It was difficult as a family to handle, to explain, put him through the whole process that, we need to be at home.
Which affected his behavior, his gross motor skills, his sensory need.
Some of them who had progressed so much had suddenly started to regress. At that stage then we were like, right, we need to do something.
During lockdown, we couldn't even step out our front door. So Heroes of Hope, they actually set up a full schedule.
Go, heroes, go! Go, heroes, go!
They were doing those activities virtually, and we started seeing the improvement on the behavior, on less tantrums, his sensory skills, his motor skills.
Okay, my superheroes, I want you to give yourself a big clap for being amazing today.
You've got to get very, very creative, and you just got to get really goofy with it a little bit as well, just to get them engaged. Like, you would watch a cartoon, and then suddenly they're like, oh, it's Superwoman, and they start then to follow the actions.
The kids really enjoyed that, so at least, every day they got to see other kids, and they got to see Holly. Yeah, that really helped.
It was a testament to Heroes of Hope in the sense of, during a very difficult time, when all of us could have stopped and focused on ourselves and our own needs, we stepped up to the plate and we're like, no, we're here for you guys and we're here for these children, and no matter what happens, we're going to continue to serve you guys even during, this unpredictable, crazy time.
Hi, friends. Stay home.
Ramadan 2020 was a difficult time for everyone. The mosques were closed. The atmosphere and the spiritual atmosphere during Ramadan has always been different. And we've lived that since our childhood. So to not go to the mosque in Ramadan was very difficult for the Muslim community within Dubai and the country.
That was a strange feeling when that happened. When you heard the call to prayers and there's the added call in there that, pray in your homes, that was just a strange feeling. But then when you came to think about it, you're like, okay, well, that's what the religion is all about. It's about the sanctity of life.
It was a sad thing, of course. It wasn't something normal to go through the holy month of Ramadan and celebrate Eid in isolation.
Ramadan 2020 or even Easter 2020, take out of my life. I don't like to remember it.
For the first time in our life, we are not allowed to go to mosque. You know, it wasn't there in any kind of our generation, from since the Prophet till now.
حي على الصلاة.
When they opened the mosques, we felt the value of the mosque, how precious it was. We learned this because it was taken from us. And always you understand the value of something when you lose it. And when we lost the mosque, now we know exactly what is its value.
It was good to go back.
The feeling was amazing.
It's a very great and amazing feeling.
Something indescribable, to be honest with you.
جميع المصلين كانوا ملتزمين الالتزام تام صراحة بمسألة التباعد ولبس الكمام وإحضار السجادة معه.
In Dubai, we're lucky to have more than 200 nationalities. And His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President of the country and the Prime Minister and the ruler of Dubai, he set the foundation right from the beginning, and he said everyone is responsible for everyone. And I think that set the principles right from the beginning. It's a partnership.
مثل ما أعلنوا أن الجميع مسؤول عن الجميع، ما عادت المسؤولية تقع بس على الجهات الحكومية فقط، لا، بل الجمهور هو جزء كبير يتحمل مسؤولية انتشار هذا الفيروس أو الإصابات اللي فيها. الناس بدأت تتعايش مع الفيروس بشكل طبيعي جداً.
And when things settled and numbers went down, I think it was about time to open up for business, but with rules and regulations and protocols that we together prepared for the Emirate of Dubai.
Life had to go back to normal. I think being in peace with COVID was very important because a lot of individuals at the time of the lockdown were in a lot of stress. A lot of people lost their jobs, so something had to happen.
The feeling was unbelievable. We went back gradually. This helped us a lot, be it the 30%, 50%, 70%, then 100%. For us, the 30% announcement, we had to party because we're going back, to life.
We reactivated the metro services. It felt very good to see that back to normal situation.
I can't tell you how happy I was. To stand in a busy cinema lobby and to see people come back and smile is just amazing.
Feels great to be back at Vox. I'm happy to see all those smiles coming back to the customers.
The movement restrictions were a tactic. They can never be a strategy to get over this pandemic. So life had to move on. Dubai had to very quickly figure out how to get out of this and in the process live with it. A big part of that was you had to think and care about the people whose lives and livelihoods will be affected by the virus, and also the people who will be affected by the way we fight the virus.
I think there's a sense of relief.
The relief to even get out of the house, first of all. They still had a lot of energy, and Tiwa used to bounce off the walls at home.
Literally.
Okay, team, so today we've got throwing.
Well done!
When they start to get a bit better, bring them back then for a proper javelin throw. After that one then, guys, this is a sprinting track. You're saying, ready, set, go. Go, 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 come on, Cinnamon! The child is running to the junior coach. They'll stop them and make them walk back again.
It was like he was reborn again. He was so excited to be back on the field with Holly and the team.
Final station, as you can see, it's just going to be hurdles. And the final group, the ones that we know are very capable, they're going to go for a long distance run.
The tantrums started getting lesser, they started being calmer, they felt they had something to do. It was like a breakthrough, you know.
The periods of hope, when they come back, they have dinner, they go to sleep. No stress, no trouble, and they sleep till morning.
And get some peace.
So, yeah. So there was definitely a huge relief.
Seeing the commitment from the volunteer coaches, the commitment from the families and the children, giving us so much love and commitment to what we're trying to do for them during that time, I decided it was my time now to give back even more and create something, you know, really, really special and something that this community needs.
As parents of children who have to live in this world, I obviously worry and think about what happens when we're gone. And the only hope I really have is that people are going to take time to create a world in which these children can have a full life. And nobody embodies that more than Holly. That never die spirit. She has a clear aim, she's a fair person, and she's going to get it done. And Dubai obviously is a place that enables that to happen. The can-do attitude and the sort of international inclusivity that happens here. So power to Holly and the crew.
There is no organization that was ready for this pandemic, no matter how much people will be saying for it. But the trick was for the government is to realize that and recover as fast as possible with minimum impact to the citizens and residents of the country.
We didn't flip-flap in and out of lockdowns. There was no huge change in policy. It's as if they set their course and they have stayed true to it for this period of time. As somebody who's operating a business, who has a family here, I think that this consistency has been vital to the success that has been achieved here. I'm absolutely convinced of that.
You know, just being at home and not being able to meet people. I think it's emotionally disturbed a lot of children worldwide. I think we're blessed and lucky to be here.
That has been a major, major, major advantage to being here in Dubai.
Hands down, I think they had the best strategy. We've seen other countries that kept going into lockdowns, out of lockdowns. The success rate at the end wasn't better or worse than the countries that opened up. Businesses suffered a lot for the countries that didn't open up, but also the effect on families and on psychology, and a lot of people actually struggled a lot with the lockdown. From my perspective, what Dubai did is we went into lockdown, partly probably to minimize the spread of the pandemic, but also I think to ramp up capacity, whether it was the field hospital, ensure there's bed, whether it's actually procuring medication, whether it's the PPEs. After they knew that they had enough to weather any spikes, they opened up. And they opened up very gradually. We saw, because we were actually servicing a lot of these health facilities, and we'd get calls saying, we want face shields. Whatever you can produce, send us. And my question was, you probably don't need this much. And the guy doing the procurement said, Fahmi, we have orders from the top to overstock.
We talked about how sort of movement restrictions cannot be a strategy to get out of this. It's more of a tactic. Vaccines, on the other hand, are a strategy to get out of this pandemic. If you think about it, it's such an amazing achievement for humanity and for science that within a year of discovering a new virus, you have vaccines that are safe and effective in protecting human beings against this disease. I don't think we appreciate how massive of a victory that is for science. So the UAE and Dubai jumped on that.
There's 3 types of vaccines are available. There's a huge number of vaccinating centers. It's everywhere.
We had an offer by the Ministry of Health to have the vaccines in the malls. I mean, this is a service I don't think you will get anywhere in the world.
The strategy was correct. Get everybody vaccinated. That way, we can defeat whatever the current mutation of that virus was.
If the virus mutates, at least we don't have to worry about the old mutation.
It's natural for viruses to evolve. The bottom line, though, is if we want to minimize the risk of these variants evolving, we just have to minimize the number of infections. And the best way to do that is through vaccination.
Do you feel the calmer atmosphere? You're able to walk in, not see the nurses run around too much, just 2 allocated beds, and that's it. That is kept in isolation and separate from the rest of the unit. And that's it. So ideally, our whole unit is basically clean.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Now to maintain it.
I mean, like, so we were here, what, 3-4 weeks ago?
It feels like it was longer, right?
It feels like
it feels
like ages ago, but
yeah.
actually that was like everybody.
We were going from one right around, yes. The amount of beds, actually managing 2 levels, you know, 1 ICU, 1 HDU, lower down. Absolutely, totally different scenario.
That's incredible.
We've managed to close the other COVID ICU for now. This is more of what we'd want to be doing on a normal, non-COVID basis, so having conscious patients who are able to communicate with us. How's the pain in your chest that you had? Better now. The thing about the UAE is you know, hospitality's remained open, so it can't just be related to the effects of a lockdown. There has to be something else that's happening in the background, and I'm sure, whilst I don't have any hard data to present to you, that it will be related to vaccination and people just being more aware of the situation and self-policing.
I don't look at the statistics anymore, but I just go with what I see on a daily basis when I go to work. So I do feel like there's a correlation there.
The number of hospitalizations are less than before, definitely. Like we had a few days back, we didn't have even any COVID admissions, which is great news, actually.
I think the evidence from clinical trials is very robust that these vaccines are safe and effective in preventing symptomatic COVID-19, so COVID-19 with symptoms. They're extremely effective in preventing severe disease.
People who are vaccinated, even if they are getting infected with the disease, if their immunity was not good enough to protect them completely from the disease, they're getting a milder course of the disease. While I have a few of my own clinic patients that have refused to take the vaccination before, and they end up getting infected and getting in a very critical condition.
It's not over yet. It's definitely not over yet. We know that it decreases the severity of disease already. I hope it will have a significant impact in reducing the overall numbers worldwide. But I think that has to be ramped up.
Even if a country has vaccinated 100% of its population, if a neighboring country is still having large numbers of infections, that's a factory for new variants that potentially could be resistant to the vaccines. So it's a global challenge, and it requires global efforts to make sure that this virus is controlled everywhere and not just in a small number of countries with high vaccination rates.
This last week, I found myself having to actually go into the office, do work. You'll see that I'm not in scrubs anymore, so I'm trying to get back into the norm and get the original practices and processes back into place. Our minds have been so focused on disaster management, and now we need to get back to what is our core function here and what are all the other extras that we need to focus on.
I feel good. I mean, it's been emotionally, physically draining as it's been. This is a year and a half now. I'd like to get more sleep, but yeah, it's definitely a bit easier. Yeah.
I think we run out of words in thanking our frontliners and the heroes of managing this pandemic. They're a community of doctors, nurses, healthcare professionals, policemen, civil defense, volunteers. They're all amazing people. Without them, we wouldn't have been where we are today. I mean, the work that they have done is outstanding.
I have realized how much I love what I do,
and how much of an impact of what we do as a profession to everyone else.
I have never really thought about it in terms of being proud of what I've done. It's just been part of the job.
I just think, gosh, you did it, or you're still doing it.
Getting a chance to give back to my country, to my community, made me so proud.
It's been a very, very rewarding experience, and I will do it again.
I think we should be proud of what we did. We should be proud of the way we handled this. For us doctors, as you know, we all work a lot. They all call us workaholics. And I think after what we have been through, and hopefully when this pandemic ends, should change.
I realized that my family is like the most important part of my life.
I'm going to be a mother soon. It's a baby boy.
Why do we worry after the person has left? We are missing somebody after the person has left from this world. Maybe there were times when I couldn't give some time to my mom and my dad. I wish I could have some extra time to give it to them. I was so busy in working, growing my business and everything. Yeah, so now I value all that thing, and now whatever part of my family is remaining, I want to give them more time. And for me, they are the most important thing.
I think this pandemic has taught us a lot of things.
We are extremely lucky within the UAE that there's so much support. I feel that people here really need to take account of what they have. They really need to take advantage of the situation that we are in, the people that we're working with, the leadership that we have. That has got to be taken and really explored further.
I think what we did here in the United Arab Emirates and in Dubai is as good as it can be.
Obviously, the political, economic, social, cultural context differ from country to country, but I think there'll be one common theme to what defines success in fighting the pandemic, and that's leadership.
If you look at the history of Dubai, Dubai's success comes because of innovativeness of leadership. It's sort of adapting to the current situation and taking advantage of crisis. They've always been able to reinvent themselves, and I think that sort of penetrates across everyone.
You know, when I was informed that I'll be the head of the Command and Control Center, of course, it's a huge responsibility. It's been a lot of stressful days, stressful nights, but it's been an amazing journey. I've been humbled and I've been honored to be part of this journey and to serve my country and our leadership and our people. These people include our own families, our own kids, our own friends, and it's a community that has a big heart.
What does the future hold? There's always positivity, always.
This pandemic will end, no doubt. It will end.
We have to be at peace with COVID because everyone will get it one way or the other. We have to find a way to live with it because it's a pandemic. It will get better, but it will never go away.
If at least most part of the world population, if they can be vaccinated, I think that's, for me, the biggest hope.
We can fight anything that is out there. We've had losses and they are horrible, and it's lessons learned for the rest of us, what to do with our future. We can't waste it, and we've got to make the most out of it. We've been given life for a reason.
It's very strange to say, but as an intensivist, you're intense, and these are the moments that you're born for. He broke completely.
Our oxygen level is critically low.
How much is of the NRM?
It was a new disease. There is no data about it.
That's a problem.
Just open your eyes if you can hear me.
Overnight, what's happened is his kidney function has deteriorated.
We were all in the middle of the intensive care unit taking care of a lot of sick patients without any reference. You can imagine that. The next 48, 72 hours are very crucial.
He's waking up.
To reduce the oxygen as much as we can, he's able to go home.
And move your ankle up.
Happy thoughts now, being happy thoughts. Getting a chance to give back to my country, to my community, made me so proud.
very strange to say, but you kind of, as an intensivist, you're intense, and these are the moments that you're born for. He broke completely.
How much is on the NRM? Everyone was excited, everyone wanted to help.
Because this is once in a lifetime. I don't think I'll ever see this probably again in my life. He's got collapse of the right upper lobe, very small lung volumes. Last pandemic was the Spanish flu back in 1920.
It felt like we were going to get a chance to get on the field and really do our game.
But I think he's fallen behind. Give him 50 grams of IV at home. It is conflicting emotions. We as intensive care doctors, we are trained to do this. But I never thought that I'll ever be in the middle of a pandemic. What's he sedated with?
We'll give you one new medicine.
That's a problem.
Just open your eyes if you can hear me.
The first day, we got our very first case coming in.
There was this fear.
Are we going to be infected? Are we going to take this virus home to our families? Do I have to stay in the hospital? Am I ever going to get home? All of these things start to kick in, and then all of a sudden, it's here.
Hello? Yeah? Okay, that's fine. I'll come now, okay? I would just set up for intubation. If you get me fentanyl, propofol, 100 milligrams of rocuronium, and a size 8 tube. Okay, I'm on my way. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, bye. All right, I'm gonna go to the other ICU.
More than a lot of specialties, you know, ICU doctors were trained to deal with it, and I'm grateful that it was part of my skill set. But what we weren't prepared for was the sheer volume of work.
I think our oxygen level's critically low. Propofol. Get a phenylephrine as well, please. Thanks. Head up just a touch, just so that you get a better intubating view. Leave a path for me just in case I need to come up to the top, okay? You're doing really, really well. We're just gonna get you off to sleep for a little bit.
Treating COVID-19 was not part of my specialty. I am a hematologist. I look after hematology patients, mainly acute leukemias, and I run a clinic where I see any patient with any blood disorder. My day finishes usually by 2:30. I go home, spend time with my kids, my family, my friends. And then I would say that our life completely changed.
COVID really exploded on us. Day one, we had our first case come in, and we managed it very well. And we thought, okay, we can do this. This is not a problem. Day 2 and 3 started picking up to the sense that we had then started doubling, tripling the numbers. And by the end of the first week, there was no controlling the numbers. It was right in our face. There was no running away.
Whereas it might be 1 or 2 patients usually on an intensive care unit, it was kind of like everybody.
We had a flood of patients. Literally, they were just coming in, pouring into our emergency department, intensive care unit. It was just unbelievable.
It was so intense. I remember walking down the emergency, and every single room were all full. Everyone was very sick. It was scary.
We literally quadrupled our capacity.
We empty out one bed, and there's already like 2-3 people waiting down in the emergency department for just that one space. It's fine, not a problem. We'll help you when you get here.
We got very organized.
We're going to draw some of that fluid.
How old is the central line here?
You're proving to be relatively indestructible.
He's waking up.
He's looking good.
Okay, next, how is he?
Improving.
Can I get the ultrasound machine? I just want to have a look at his heart. We had to stop operating. We had to stop elective surgeries. We had to even close down some of our outpatient services. We had to pretty much close the entire hospital and convert it into a COVID hospital. Just having a look at your heart. Happy with that?
COVID had an impact on every system in your body.
You have to keep a close eye on him because I think he's running into trouble.
Every patient that came in for other problems, we had to suspect COVID. Evidence of sepsis here, white cell count very high.
Because it attached to a receptor, it was just found everywhere, particularly in the vasculature. Every organ is supplied by a vessel. Every one of these vessels would be touched in some way.
Most of the patients present with breathing difficulties, fever, loss of smell, to loss of taste, to headaches, confusion.
And then they progress to needing upscaling modalities of oxygenation, whether that be non-invasive methods all the way up through to mechanical ventilation with a breathing tube in.
Strange neurological presentations, which we'd never seen in respiratory viruses before.
This lady, something else that the coronavirus caused for her is vasculitis in her brain. So when she first came to us, she was even unconscious. Even without sedation, she was unconscious.
Blood clots dislodged all over their bodies.
Stroke, gastrointestinal symptoms like diarrhea.
Liver. His liver is shot completely. Heart failure. His pro-BNP is 4,000. Kidneys.
Is the CRRT dose enough?
I have seen patients getting affected head to toe, even the bone marrow. We had patients with bone marrow suppression due to the COVID-19 infection.
You had a new infection yesterday. Otherwise, the plan was to remove the tube tomorrow. But I don't think you'll be ready for that yet. Okay, but you're doing great. Be strong, okay? We're not going to give up.
We'd say, where do we see this patient in 6 hours? And it really became a chess game with the virus. If you fell a step behind, sometimes just couldn't pull the patient back.
Literally day by day, and not even day by day, because in the mornings you can have a good morning, by afternoon everything can change. So, bit of a roller coaster.
That's why it's very difficult not only to deal with it, but also to deal with the families, to deal with the loved one. You go out, you talk to the family, you tell them, okay, your father is doing very well, he is improving. 2 hours later, he is on a ventilator. The problem with it is not the virus itself. The problem with this virus is what happens after.
It's that idea of a domino effect, and COVID is the first domino in the line, and as soon as it knocks over, this inflammatory process then just carries on uncontrolled. And even when you take COVID away, the most common question I get asked is, are they still positive? And actually, you know, it doesn't really matter anymore. The inflammatory process has already started.
You can imagine an earthquake that happened. The earthquake is gone, but you still need to deal with the consequences of this earthquake. We didn't know how it's going to affect this person compared to this person. We had young patients who have no medical problems before, being in a very bad situation, being very sick, on mechanical ventilation. And we have 80s and 90s years old with multiple medical problems, even some of them lung fibrosis, that walked through it like a regular common cold. With the COVID, it was a new disease. There is no data about it. We were all in the middle of the intensive care unit taking care of a lot of sick patients without any reference. You can imagine that.
And because most people who get this virus have either mild symptoms or have no symptoms, they could, you know, get on with their lives and continue to pass the virus on to others. If this was a virus that made everyone it infects very, very sick, it wouldn't spread, because very sick people tend to confine themselves to where they are, which I think why it caused all this damage that it has.
It's just the stress, what we been through that time, seeing so many very sick patients, the number of people that you speak to and reassure, and then seeing them deteriorate fast in front of your eyes, seeing them dying in front of your eyes, and you have nothing to do, and you are helpless because you gave them everything that you can do. We lost a lot of patients, we lost a lot of people. It was just like a never-ending story.
Sometimes we didn't sleep at night thinking, what else can I do? Did I miss something? Is there something else that I need to do? Do I need to change my practice?
Losing one patient, it took a huge toll on our team, actually. We dream about our patients.
Oh God. Oh, that wasn't expected. It sucked, obviously, yeah. At first, it was like a pride thing that you could help and that we could do something. We're in a position, like, we're qualified to care and we're qualified to help people. But yeah, I think on the scale of it and the scale that people were dying, you just, I don't know, I think it's quite difficult to, sorry. Yeah, you just kind of have to crack on with it, I guess.
I think the best intensivists I've ever worked with had a big heart. Sometimes you need that little bit extra in a time like this, because this is a very special time, and the word special means a lot of different things. Hopefully we'll never see it again. But this draws out, and it drew out from our team, what I'd never expect to draw. ICU is one of the peak team sports, because when you're under that kind of pressure, the cracks come through and you eventually fall apart. And we didn't. And it was a real testament to the kind of structure we had built. The team just blossomed, the team just peaked. That was how we handled the first wave very successfully.
I remember driving and listening to the radio in the morning, because, you know, we're listening to the numbers and what's happening, and the increase is starting to go up. And I thought, wait a minute, is this coming again?
The numbers started to rise.
And then before we knew it, the bomb had gone off a second time.
The virus itself has gotten very clever. It's mutated, and we could see that.
The second wave was different than the first wave. The people who are sick are more sick than the first wave. The complications that's happening with those patients are much worse than what we saw in the first wave.
The gravity of the situation was overwhelming.
He was doing very well up until yesterday. Unfortunately, he had a setback with an infection. We tried him on non-invasive ventilation, but he was very distressed, so we had to intubate him yesterday and put him on the ventilator.
The scary part that we saw very young people, very sick.
The last maybe 4 or 5 days, we've really been going up, down, touch and go. So unfortunately, he's on our critical list.
Your elderly patients, those with heart disease did come, but they were not the majority.
We go down to 28 years of age, 25 years of age on a ventilator and aggressively ill.
Last time people died mainly pneumonia-related issues. This time they came with many other problems which were new to us.
So what we've just learned, and we finally got through that bit, actually it might not work now.
نحن بنقول لهم يخفون عنك الأكسجين هذا اللي تاخذه، وبنعطيك تشوف هذا الدم وبتاخذ صفائح بعد معه. Okay?
This particular patient was transferred to us for ECMO service to provide heart-lung support.
She was about 35 plus weeks pregnant, and unfortunately had become very challenging. So they did have to then do an emergency cesarean section. It was done successfully. Her baby was then sent to the neonatal ICU. Patients having spent that much time in the ICU, unfortunately, we developed relationships with these patients. A lot of the female staff would relate very closely to her because this is a woman who had just had her baby lying in that bed and fighting for her life. We put pictures up so she literally could turn her head and look at her baby that she'd never actually seen or touched. And, whoa, okay, okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. Why did you ask that question?
She died of severe infection, and I think that hit us. Even now, I think this is one patient we'll always remember.
How any one of my team would continue working and just turn their head the other way. Great coping mechanisms for them, but then at the end of the day, I felt that they had all felt a loss. And we have to tap into it if we really want to be humane and treat that person holistically. You have to feel that little bit of emotion and that little bit of loss, I believe, to make us stronger to continue. As the time went by, you could see the toll it took on all the healthcare staff. We were literally exhausted.
It's not just the physical intensity, and it's not just the mental intensity of being there, thinking through decisions for multiple complex patients. It's then the emotional intensity of it all and having to break bad news to families on a near daily basis. It gets to the stage where it felt like there weren't a lot of wins. And that wasn't the case at all. It's just, you deal with the losses a lot harder than the wins.
Muhammad Nazim, he was an active person. He went for the gym, playing cricket. This tiny virus that we can't see entered his body.
The virus itself has been exceptionally unpredictable. We were in a process of he was getting better, things were positive. I was looking at probably doing the tracheostomy, and then we were going to start weaning his sedation, and then all of a sudden, I come in, kidneys are failing, he's in multiple organ failure. I went to speak to him. I knew the news was bad because I did fear the worst, that he was going to deteriorate further. And I actually said at the time, I'm not sure that this is a conversation we should be having in front of other people. And he was adamant that, if this ever gets shown to the world, then it's important that they see just how bad this can be, and it's an exceptionally admirable thing. It's completely up to you, but it's not going to be... It's not good news, so, okay, so... It's pretty critical today, so really it'll be up to yourself whether you want to be there for what I'm about to say.
So the critical?
It's critical again.
Yeah. So by means of...
We'll have a chat about it in more detail. It's up to you. You can decide whether you want them to be there.
I don't mind taking, but...
Okay.
That day, the doctor, he was like, I never seen him so disappointed. I can, get a sense from him that we are going to lose him. So I thought like it was a message like that. He's gonna be.
I was always taught, that moment where you break bad news is a moment for you. It's, so it's 11:30 on a Monday, and that's it. But for them, they will never forget that moment. That is always a moment that they will speak to their family about forever. And that lesson has stuck with me. So I try to make that moment as clear and as compassionate as possible. Overnight, what's happened is his kidney function has deteriorated further, which is expected from where we were yesterday. And we're going to start him on dialysis this morning. So I have put a line in already, and the plan is to start the dialysis and also to try and take some fluid off, okay? So remove some fluid from the body, whilst maintaining his blood pressure, which is a fairly difficult thing to do.
Both kidneys stopped working. So, when we can expect some changes, like how?
Good question, impossible to answer. Impossible to answer. What I would hope to see is that when we start the dialysis, we can get some fluid off. I would like to see, firstly, a change in his oxygenation, the amount of oxygen that is required. I'd like to see that coming down. That would be the first thing I want to see. And then the next thing I would like to see is some sort of resolution of this acute kidney injury. Now that we're helping the kidneys with dialysis. Now, you have to bear in mind the most recent study that I've seen from the UK shows that when you're started on renal replacement therapy or dialysis with COVID, then 20% of patients who are started on dialysis within the ICU will still be on dialysis afterwards, okay? So there is a chance that this will be a longer term thing.
Now at that moment, our prayer, it was like, don't include him in that 1 out of 5. You know, we need his kidneys back in function because he's too young.
So still the status remains changed, like he don't have COVID virus.
He's had 2 negative tests, so he would therefore be deemed to be negative. But remember the domino effect. So flick the first domino and that's COVID, take COVID away and the dominoes keep on going, and that's the process that happens. Is that inflammatory process continues on even without COVID. COVID being there or not is now almost irrelevant. The process will run its course, and that is what you're seeing, is this further deterioration associated with that.
When I communicate with the doctor, I always kept a 0 to 10 measure, where 0 is like he's perfect, well, and the 10 being the most critical.
0 to 10.
The scale, yeah, I would say he's probably at a 9. Yeah, having been a 6 last week, I think he's getting close to being exceptionally critical again. But again, we need to remain hopeful, yeah. Fixed on the plan that we have, okay, and remember that some of these problems, or a lot of these problems, are currently reversible. Until we sit down and have a conversation where I say to you, despite everything I have done, nothing is improving, then we just keep on going and we keep on supporting until it, one of 2 things happens, okay? Okay, stay positive.
When I hear all this, I literally cried. In the waiting room, I was trying to convince myself, he will come back. Because we are helpless, we don't have the machines, we don't know anything about internal organs. All we can do is wait and pray.
Check on her. Try to win her down to high flow, see how much she tolerates. Her x-ray is looking better.
In November, my dad passed away. And after that, my mom, she almost went into a depression. There was not even one day when she was not crying. So after 3 months of that, we started inviting people at home so that, she could, move on, and, if she's going to interact with people, so like that. But, that one person who came to our house, he was already carrying the corona.
When she first came, she was in the first stages of the disease, and she was still not on a ventilator. An elderly lady with multiple health complications, especially with diabetes and chronic kidney disease. So we had to be very frank with them. The next 48, 72 hours are very crucial. If she continues to improve, the inflammation starts going down, X-ray improving, we might avoid putting her on mechanical ventilation. If no, things start worsening again, we might have to proceed with mechanical ventilation. With her age and her comorbidities, honestly, if she ends up on mechanical ventilation, her prognosis is poor. Okay? Just to be very honest with you. She's in her 70s, she has kidney failure, she has diabetes, she has other comorbidities. People like her, if they end up on mechanical ventilation, their prognosis is poor. That's why we try our best to avoid mechanical ventilation in somebody like her.
I used to wait for hours in the waiting area outside the ICU, all mixture of emotions, anxiety, fear of losing my mom, the only parent which was left in my life. So yeah, it was kind of a roller coaster for me.
Anxiety and stress amongst families is just something that you cannot imagine.
Especially at the beginning of the pandemic, and we could not let any family members see those patients.
You're stuck between the role of the healthcare professional that needs to look out for the best interest of the patient and for yourself as well. I can't have you coming into a COVID positive unit and putting yourself at risk, your family at risk. But then also the side where I thought, gosh, what if that was my mother, or what was that if that was my sister or brother?
I don't know how I'd be able to cope if I had my daughter in an ICU and I was not allowed to see her. That would be, I almost want to say insane. Because we have a cubicle setup, meaning each room is a single room, so the patients can be viewed from a glass window. We then started allowing family members in to be able to at least have that visual contact. Really helped a lot. But then again, you look at their body language and they look helpless.
My mom, especially with her age, realistically, ICU is like a 50-50 situation. So it was horrifying. It was really very bad experience, you know. Well, I was waiting in the ICU. It feels like it's an eliminating round, you know. When I go and see her, the next door was a different person, and the other door was another different person. So it's just unbelievable kind of fear that I had. Because it's like your mother, so you cannot get any other mother in the world, you know. It's just there's only one. It's irreplaceable.
I'm Dr. Kalpana.
Yeah.
You are?
Isel, I'm...
Come here. Your mom is here. She's going in the right direction.
Yeah, is she improving? Is there any progress?
So overall, she's sick. You have to understand the fact that she's on a ventilator means that she's sick, she's critical. But she is going in the right direction. We are able to decrease the support on the oxygen, on the ventilator. Her oxygen requirements have come down. We are treating her also for an infection on top of the COVID. She's also got another bacterial infection, which we are treating with antibiotics.
Okay.
Her blood pressure is stable. We're going to start feeding her, giving her food.
She's
food in a sense through the tube.
Through a tube.
She's got a tube in her nose that's going into her stomach. We're going to start giving her food through that. Okay? So far, she's stable. She's totally resting. When we start to decrease sedation, which we will in the next 24 hours, then we may ask you to come and talk to her just to try and relax her.
I could not even touch her, you know, just waiting for a miracle to happen.
This lady came in from the maternity hospital with very bad corona infection while she was pregnant. She lost the baby due to severe hypoxia and she was struggling for her life. She is only 35. She's only 35. That's very sad.
As a father, I feel very sad. More than 6 months she carried. She's daughter. My baby is daughter. Very bad experience that is.
When she got off the sedation, she was very weak. She can hardly move her fingers. It actually took her a few days before she asked about her baby. She did not even recognize at the beginning that she was pregnant or she had a baby. This is not unusual after prolonged sedation. They do not comprehend where they are, what happened to them. They have some type of amnesia, and gradually they start remembering. Later, once she started coming back to her regular self, she realized that this had happened to her.
It's a very tragic situation.
Jerry was one of the more, I would say, supportive people. He never left the hospital. I saw him whenever I went to the intensive care unit. I
I saw him there. He was always appreciative to what we were doing. He was always thankful, even when she was in a very critical situation and I had to inform him that she might make it, she might not make it, because a lot of families have shown anger against us, which was more stressful to us than anything else.
Every day morning I came at hospital. I'm not going to office. My daughter, she's a 6-year-old. She's in a neighbor home.
We were very cautious in giving good news to the family. We tried as much as we could to keep our optimism. But after as many deaths as we saw, after as many critical patients as we saw, we couldn't do that anymore. Hello. Hey, how are you today? Just an update about your wife. She's doing well. As you know, we extubated her off the ventilator 2 days ago, and she is improving actually. She's more awake, alert. She's starting to move a little bit better. As you know, when we first extubated her, she was unable to move any of her limbs. Now she's able to move her shoulders and her legs, which is a very good improvement.
Now she's talking something?
She's talking, she's asking for food, she's asking about people, which is a very good advance compared to before. So we have a long way to go, but at least we got over the biggest hurdle in her care, which is the respiratory failure. You also have to be very supportive, of course. It's not easy to go through what she went through. You have been doing very, very well, keeping up with this big stress. But hopefully, slowly things will start getting better gradually. Okay. It will take some time. Once we get out of here, we have still a long way to go with rehab. We'll transfer her to the rehab unit and then we'll start aggressive rehab.
Morning, 4:20 a.m. Things really deteriorated where he had to intervene and put my mom on a ventilator. They said that, can you rush to the hospital because your mom's condition is very bad. We rushed to the hospital, but she was no more. The last time when I saw her in CICU, she was trying to tell me something. She was telling me that, son, give me a last hug. Probably I won't survive. But I was not allowed to walk inside the room. All I could just make actions from outside saying that within 3 days you will be out from here. I promised her. But I couldn't keep that promise. So that last hug, I couldn't.
It is very hard. Dealing with death is very hard. We all are trained to deal with this. But what I saw during this pandemic more than what I saw in my entire career. And I've been a doctor for 22 years. I've been an ICU doctor for about 15 years. For us as doctors, we put everything we can. We put all our effort, all our emotions behind this patient. And we could not do any better than what we did. We do everything we can and we hope that the outcome will be good, but really, the outcome with this pandemic was not very good. We've seen a lot of death. We have to inform a lot of families about their loved one dying.
Telling families that they lost a loved one was almost every day, and not just to one family, to many families on the same day. And it wasn't easy.
The doctors over here, the frontliners, everyone has been very helpful. They've been very kind. They are standing right in front of those infected, and I know it's stressful for them also, and they're still doing it. So I think they're doing a very good job. I have no complaints.
Okay, so dialysis yesterday, ongoing, proned yesterday.
I thought like this, his life is going to be only 2 or 3 days.
Try and control CO2. No, the Presidex can stop. Would you mind getting his microbiology up for us?
Talked to the doctor. The doctor, he was like, you know, the real hero.
But his lungs are very, very stiff. He's got ARDS definitely on his chest X-ray, which is worsening. So it's really important that we try and keep his airway pressures within safe limits. All right.
He said after the first dialysis stage, they said, yeah, he's coming back.
Take as much UF off today as you can to get him into a negative balance. If you need to go up a little on the vasopressors to get more fluid off, I'm okay with that. Okay, as long as his mean arterial pressure is above 65. Okay, fine. Any other questions at all? Happy? Okay, thank you very much.
There were patients that just came, had a face mask, had a tough time, and even they would take some time to recover. But imagine the guys 40, 50 days, some of them all the time on a ventilator. It would take anything up to a year to recover, and that's if they're in a reasonable age group. Some may never recover.
You've got the initial issue of waking up in an ICU with a breathing tube in, being unable to speak, isolated from your family. I mean, that would be awful, an absolutely terrifying ordeal.
They're not able to sleep. They have severe delirium.
Emotionally, they'll have nightmares for weeks. The drugs we gave them, you know, we hear stories of what they experienced while they were being sedated, and it's horrific. Thankfully, the majority of patients remember very little.
They are completely wasted, severe, what we call as ICU-acquired weakness. They're not able to move. They are so scared. They're so scared that they're going to die, and they're so scared that they're not be able to see their family members and their loved ones.
And then all of a sudden it becomes a reactive depression, potentially, where you start to lose motivation. Am I ever going to get better? And you realise that the next big step now is to get out of hospital, and they need that landmark.
Of course, it's a good relief and happiness, and when we call him and he opens his eyes, we like for the past 2 months, we were nowhere. Like I've been monitoring for the past 4 days. We are seeing some gradual improvement. Like starting day before yesterday, it's like moving his lips. When I will speak to him, he's trying to respond. So it's all good. Positive sign. When he's moving into the normal ICU, his wife now, she's here and she's looking after, she's been with him from day to night. So this is how, as a family, we look after him.
Thankfully, he's more conscious, he's trying to mouth words, he's still very confused and delirious, and that's to be expected. He's also very weak. That rehabilitation process will take months, I would imagine. But he started to produce some urine in the last couple of days, which is starting to show signs of early renal recovery. Hopefully those days of dialysis are now coming to an end soon. But generally, it's incredible to see, very uplifting.
Doctor told me we cannot give any time when she'll recover.
The first day I got her off the ventilator, she couldn't stand, she could not even sit on the side of the bed. She have lost all her muscle mass. She started improving quickly. She had a desire to live.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, fine.
I need you to try and roll on the sides and sit at the edge of the bed. And roll to the side. There you go. All the way up. Come on, sit. There. And rest for a bit.
Being able to make it from your bed to the chair is actually an achievement. It's like taking their first couple of steps.
Like being a little baby, not being able to stand by yourself, sometimes needing assistance just to do your natural functions.
Okay. On 3. 1, 2, 3, and up. Come on, squeeze the knees. Squeeze the bottom.
It's so much about character. There's only so much medicine can do. And I think when the person's determination to be like, this is not gonna beat me. Obviously it's not the only thing.
We passed 30 seconds, that's really good.
But it has such an impact on the recovery period and the recovery phase.
Think happy thoughts now, think happy thoughts. Only 15 seconds, Alice.
It's that internal like, I refuse to let this beat me.
And bend the knee, bend the knee. Good. Well done. Yay! Better today.
It's amazing, huh? Do you feel the improvement?
Yes, of course.
How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, improvement.
She's standing 1 minute.
Standing. Very happy.
Positive energy. Still I am going under positive energy.
Is that the longest?
Yeah, today done the 1 minute. That is the longest.
Yesterday 30 seconds.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna get emotional again.
Come a long way and you're doing great. So all good news.
Try to reduce the oxygen as much as we can. He's able to go home.
Okay, Krishna. Good.
Feeling good? You okay?
Going to the following day and the next day, and you just see them starting to mobilize. Patients are then making it from the bed to the chair to the door of the cubicle going out is really, really amazing.
You know they are one step closer to getting home, and that is just the best, like the absolute best. Honestly, you look so good I could cry.
Every day when the doctor updates us, she's improving.
It was surprising how quickly she turned around, and within a couple of days we were actually able to get her off the ventilator and she was off to the wards.
From then on, she was totally recovering. It was really like a miracle for her to cover that fast. She was discharged last week and now she's like doing very well.
Alhamdulillah, this is my second life. I still have a chance to serve Allah, to be with my family.
I improved a lot very fast because I know my family is there, my husband, my child. I want to see them, I want to take care of them also. First of all, I thank to God because I came back, and I thankful to DHA, the staff, doctors, physiotherapists, the nursing assistants. I am very thankful to my husband. He's very supportive.
Now I am happy. Happy, that's all. Happy life. We both. 2 months. Still doctors are telling it's very fast recovery. Her life is very fast. I know that some people, when she's admitted at that time, some people is there in the hospital, still there in the hospital.
Okay, let's go. I want you to pick one cone up from here and I will help you. We're going to go all the way up and then we're going to go down. Okay, are you ready? All right. Let's grab one of the cones.
Now he can raise his hand, left hand, not the right one, and he can, move his leg, ankles, only the ankles. So he's coming back slowly. It's been a roller coaster for us. One day good news, and the next day it goes to the downside.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Grab it. Grab it.
Wait. He got that.
This time you won't rest.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right.
It's a kind of seizure, so for like 2-3 minutes, he will not move anything. The doctor, they did like several nerve conduction studies. The report shows there is kind of variation in the brain functioning.
He's still suffering from a lot of the consequences of what we had to do to save his life. His rehabilitation and the rehabilitation process is going to be a lengthy one for him.
I asked the doctor, almost 8 people, including his roommates and his office mates, they all caught the virus. And Nazim, why he's the only one is in this stage? Why he's critical? Then the one and only answer that doctor gave back to me, not about his health condition, not about his past history or anything. He's unfortunate. So the virus doesn't look your health or your wealth. It's all about your luck.
Good morning. May I come in?
Hi, Ajay. Yeah.
Hi.
How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Nazim. How are you?
Fine.
How's he doing today? You feeling well? Ready for the exercise? So just try to focus and move your ankle up and then try to push me down. Okay? I need a good concentration.
I'm happy. What good things I did in my life, I don't know. These people are support me very well. Medical staff, family support. Everybody support me very well to recover.
Push down. Push down.
Past is past. We can't do anything for the past. So we have to look in future only.
2, 3, bend forward and get up. Excellent job, well done. You are quicker than this machine now. Very nice.
Yesterday, we completed 7 months. Was spotted COVID positive and admitted to this hospital. His kidney is completely back and seizure is now very less.
And try to lift your leg up.
The days passed, we all are tired, so we all looking forward for that day when he walks with us.
Okay? Just look forward and walk. Train your body and brain to walk without looking down. Go.